affordability. And as part of your electric co-op, you're also part of the solution. You can help by making your home more energy efficient. Together, we have the power to make a difference.
This message brought to you by Cumberland Electric Membership Corporation.
This is Brian Free asking you to download the WSGI app for iPhone and Android and listen to great gospel music and family-friendly programming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on WSGI AM 1100 Springfield, God's Informer.
One street over there's a life I could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Good morning. Welcome to it. Oh, finally Friday. I don't know about y'all, but man, having that day off on Monday and then just kind of getting back at it, I don't know. It just makes me want some more time off, I guess, maybe. But it's Friday on a short week, and we're headed into the weekend. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern, and this is One Street Over. A chance to know what's going on one street over from where you're living, and we are living right. We are blessed to work and live in Robertson County, in the words of our wonderful, sweet, precious mayor, Mayor Billy Vogel, county mayor. And we just love that mayor. That's just so smart. Anyway, just a couple of things I want to mention. I've got Lisa Forte coming in from Redeem Her Now, and they have got, of course, their once a month worship that's happening up in Old Hickory, just up the street from my digs at Madison Church of Christ, and we'll be talking about that at We Are Church, and we just love having her in every week because there's a couple things on my mind. First off, I'm gonna show a book to you guys that, man, just she's gonna love, but I just can't get enough of this, but. I just want to say, I talk a lot about my grandkids and all the demands of baseball and all the things. And I think last night I had the opportunity to go to Hermitage and watch my grandson play baseball. And as we were out there, and it was just such a beautiful night. And I don't understand baseball. We didn't play baseball. We just didn't have time for it because we have 4 boys, 4.5 and under. Okay, so when they all started hitting baseball age, I can't imagine keeping up with all those teams. We just elected not to do it, and we lived out in the country on a creek and had, access to being outside and all those things. But for folks that live in town, baseball is an opportunity to just get your kids out and just get in, the fresh air and have fun. And I mean, what fun was had at the ballpark last night. And I'm exhausted as I am because it's a little over an hour drive to get there and back. And we get up super early. We did not get up and take our walk this morning because I just was so far behind on everything I had to do. But we get up like at 3:30 in the morning. So it was, it was a hard morning for me. But what a blessing getting to see those kiddos out there having fun. I get it with you baseball families. I really do. It's a chance to get out with your dear friends and just have fun and let your kids play. My grandson that was on the, out playing baseball was, just part of the show, watching my granddaughter and my youngest, not my youngest grandson, my youngest one's in Jackson. But my 3-year-old grandson, kicking it up out there in the dust and the dirt and just tearing it up. At one point, the 3-year-old was on one of those little walking trikes, and there was a place where he could kind of go up and down and not be, running over people, and had on a bike helmet that was a mohawk, and just tearing it up. And I mean, at one point he was throwing dirt up in the air And his mom was like, quit throwing the dirt up in there. And he goes, it's a party. And I'm just like, it was just so fun watching those kids. And I've always been so like, oh, baseball. I don't like baseball. And it's like, I go because I love my grandchildren and all that kind of thing. But what fun they had at the ballpark last night. How are you doing, Lisa?
I'm good. I'm waking up.
I know. She was like, I'm going to be a little late. I'm like, well, I'm always running in here on two wheels. So
Well,
that's
I
no
was just
problem.
sitting there going, well, and here I'm telling the traffic lady.
No
You're
problem.
gonna have to wake me up at 6 and give me my traffic report from
Oh, how
Hendersonville
funny.
to
God bless
Springfield.
you. That's a drive.
It
I
is
mean,
a
it's
little
an hour. There's no easy way to get here from Hendersonville. Because when we moved here, we were in Hendersonville. We lived on Timberlake Drive when we bought this
yeah.
property. And we moved here. And is this Mom coming in
is
here?
Mom. She
Hi,
is.
Mom. I knew you said she was going to come, and then you came in by yourself. I'm like, well, where's Mom?
Well,
But I'm just teasing you.
this is Carol. Carol,
So,
this
hey,
is
Carol,
LaVern.
what is going on? Come on in here, Carol. Yes, y'all favor. I can, my mother would walk in, they're like, I can see you and her, and her and you, and all those things. You know what I mean? You see those echoes, and isn't that fun? But so anyway, we, I don't even know what I was saying.
Moving.
Moving from Hendersonville, there was no easy way to get here. And we were back and forth from Timberlake Drive. And I mean, my biggest challenge when I was moving to Robertson County up here was to not get a speeding ticket in Ridgetop. I mean, I got 3 like in the span of just a few months because I forgot.
So you didn't do that. Do you know who I am?
No. I had one officer tell me one time I said that, and I said, I don't think I said it like, I mean, we were just talking.
Right.
And you know who you are, young man. Because he was in here.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I wouldn't do that. And then I got to thinking about it, and I thought, well, I kind of remember our conversation. And he's just a real friendly guy, and we were just chit-chatty. And I said something about it. And I thought, I didn't say, you know who I am, but I think I might have just kind of dropped it in there, inadvertently.
to see if it made a
To see
difference.
if it would help, But I got to thinking about it, and I've been very careful not to do that. But that little stinker, I'm thinking. But he was in here doing something. I'm not going to call him out completely, but bless him. He said I did that. I was like, I didn't do that. But then as I got to thinking about it, I'm like, maybe I brought it up.
Yeah.
I don't know, but.
You'd almost have to. You should have your driver's license changed.
Yeah, so like U-turn.
U-turn.
Have U-turn on my driver's license. No,
Or
people
in
don't-
parentheses,
I'll
that's your
be
middle
honest with you,
name.
there's so many newbies in this area.
Right, they don't know.
They don't have a clue. And I mean, I still run into people all the time that remember me from traffic, and thank y'all. That just means the world to me. And but there's an awful lot of people that just don't have a clue. We were at the ballpark the other day, and there was a woman who was my age, and she was chit-chatting, and some people were going like, well, what are they talking about? You could just see they were like, I don't get it,
Right.
And people, and my students, they're like 14 to 18, and they don't have a clue. And they're like, my mom, my dad said this. And like, what does that even mean, Miss Vivio? And they're like, you turned your teacher. And they're like, what?
Ooh, right?
Yeah, they just don't get it. But anyway, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
It feels like it's been forever, but it hasn't really been.
No, it hasn't
I
been
mean,
because you were
August-
here last month, weren't you?
We were here.
Yeah. Okay.
It just feels like, it feels like August went by really fast, but then yeah.
I know. It's just
Mark
kind of
gets let go.
crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just been nuts. But it has been for people who know kind of behind the scenes of what's been going on in our world, we've had a trying last 3 or 4 months. And you and I had that conversation. I don't know if it was verbal or via text, but I got the message to you that all is, I don't know. I can't remember who I told what and when.
Right.
It was kind of like, if you know, all is well. So but it's been a challenge since about end of May.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? God does God allows us to go through things that teach us so much and guide us down roads we weren't expecting. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You just trust that all the way, and we're good. We're absolutely for the just the record, we're awesome. We're awesome. We're back getting our house. I mean, we've been trying to do renovations on our house all summer, and we just could not concentrate. And Jim Tees, I love you. You're just awesome. He's the guy that's coming out and working and just doing stuff while we're not there now.
Oh,
And he's just best handyman ever. I've never seen a guy that was so meticulous with detail. I mean, he's just awesome. He's just awesome. But you can't have him till I'm done.
like, right.
And I've
get
given him
first
a whole
dibs.
list.
I know, right?
I've
First
given him a
dibs.
whole list. I've given him a whole list. And so y'all can't have him for at least another month. He's mine. But just a man, when you find somebody that's just like, yes, thank you. So he's doing an awesome job, but we're going to promote the heck out of him when we get, I don't know, man, we may keep him busy for 6 months.
Right.
Once we get the inside of the house done, we've got things that need to be done in the barns and all that. And we're gone all the time now. So, because I mean, now the
Jim,
schools,
I think LaVern's going to put you on payroll.
kind of for a while,
Right.
but man, I'm telling you, but it's like, man, when you teach, it's just something all the time. It's crazy. It's wonderful, crazy and busy, but my goodness, it's busy. So anyway, that's my world. And I had to bring this because I have just been devouring this. If you love Israel, you have to read this book. I recommend getting it on Audible and getting the physical book because you need to know what this Doran, I guess I'm saying his name, Doran Spillman. He is from Michigan. He is a man who grew up in Michigan. His family, came to America when so many others were going in different places. Whenever the displaced Jewish families, a lot of them returned to Israel. His family came to America, and he talks about that. But he went on a trip to Israel as a young man, I guess probably 18, he says, and he spent the summer there. And I think he'd been there before with his parents and, done a tour and just kind of had a connection to it. So when he was like 18, he went on this big summer thing. And he said he had this real pivotal moment in his life where he was in a restaurant or something, and he was walking across the room, and there was a table full of Israeli soldiers there, and they had like 20 guns stacked in a pyramid. And he bumps them, and they just go everywhere. And they were his age. These people were his age, and they were clapping him on the back. Oh, that's okay, laughing and all that kind of thing. And it just struck him. If my parents had come back to Israel instead of America, that would be me.
Yep.
And he just felt very, called to their cause. Came back home, came back to America, went back to law school, was doing everything his parents wanted him to do. And he kept returning to Israel for trips and things like that. And his brother pulled him aside one day and said, you need to live your dreams, not mom and dad's. And he left and went and joined the Israeli army. And because of his education, and he became, fluent in the language very quickly, and became a spokesperson for the IDF and for the Israeli Defense Force. And I'm telling you, just phenomenal story. And then he just the way God directed his path to work with the city of David and the excavations. If you've not studied what they have uncovered in the city of David in the last 25 years, particularly since they have uncovered the pilgrimage road, and it's incredible. It's incredible. It's just incredible. And also the journey of those who tried to prevent them from uncovering it, because by uncovering it, it's proof of their history there.
Right.
People want to say that they don't have a history there, and it's like, you can't deny it. And they want to say, oh, there's no proof of King David. Are you kidding me? Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, you just, the things that they have uncovered, this is the pilgrimage road and the structure. You can walk the pilgrimage road from the Pool of Siloam down to toward the temple, to the temple. I mean, you can't go in the temple because of, it's not under Israeli control or, Jewish control. But this little thing right here blows my mind. See what this is right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a little gold ball with a little clasp on it. They found this deep under the digs in the ruins around where the temple, the second temple destruction in 70 AD, right? They found this. If you read in scripture where it talks about the high priest had a gold bell and a pomegranate, and a gold bell and a pomegranate, that is a gold bell that they found Are you kidding me? They're finding names of people who served king. I forget which king exactly, but it's like maybe the great great grandson of King David. Somebody who was one of his advisors. They found a clay seal with his name on it. That's the same name in the Bible. I mean, it's breathtaking. It's breathtaking, the incredible. And everybody's like, well, I don't need this evidence to prove the Bible. No, but the world does. We as believers, we have faith and we don't need this. But when the world is shouting at us that it's a myth, number one, we've got to be ready to give an answer for the hope that we have. And wow, is this an answer? Is this an incredible answer? This is the best thing I have read. And I've gone through it audibly about 3 times. And now I've got the book and I'm going to go through it. And I'm trying to commit to memory the historical moments and the things that people talk about and all the little things you hear, the little talking points you hear, and the way he's like, that's incorrect. And here's the answer. And oh man, excellent book. I can't recommend it enough. But anyway, and I know you love everything is Israel and wow, you love this book. I'd give you this one, but it's mine. You can't have it. You have to order your own.
That's nice. I would give it to you, but you have your Audible book you can listen to. I'll give it back.
Here, you can read it. No, honestly, if you want to read it, you can. Because I'm going to have it. It's going to be a while before I can probably dig through it. But
I promise not to highlight it. Well, I started doing that with some of, there's a group of us that will read, like if I find a book that I really, really like, oh my goodness, we need to consume this. So I'll take one highlighter color and I'll do it. And then I'll pass it along and go, okay, this is the deal. We're going to pass it to these 3 or 4 other ladies. You have to pick a different color to either highlight or underline. It's so, and what's
That's
really
fun.
cool, it's fun. So the book looks like a coloring book when we're done, which is, it's fun. But it's just really interesting to see what the Lord ministers to other people when they read it. It's like, yeah, your highlight's good, but like, look over here, and this is why, or they're, making little notes in the sides of, wow, this spoke to me. And then, but when somebody else points it out and you get it back and you're like, oh, wait, how did I miss that? Like that was right above where I highlighted. So it is really cool.
Isn't that cool? And there's like I said, I could just sit here. The pictures are the one thing that I hadn't really, I'm going to glance through the pictures here and see if there's anything I haven't seen. But, cause I haven't had a chance to really go through it, but it is an incredible book. I haven't gone through this part of it. I just got this, but I want to go to Israel so bad. It's the reason I'm making him drive a bus and earn the extra money so I can go to Israel. Everyone's like, Mark's driving a bus and he's teaching and doing all the things. I'm like, yeah, I got to go to Israel. And I just I don't have crazy money like that to cause it's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's expensive. And this little guy right here, little David, they call him, but he's like just amazing. He's the one who has just been the driving force behind the city of David. His story, they share his story. He's so propelled into the purpose God has for his life because his father was in Auschwitz, right? And he was taken to Auschwitz during the Holocaust. And he didn't know the story, and his dad didn't tell him the story until he was on his deathbed because he didn't want him to be bitter and all of that. But he said, you need to know before I'd pass that whenever I was taken into Auschwitz, they, asked me if I had some special skill. And he knew that if he didn't say yes, then he would just be put in the regular, common area and would be more likely to not survive. And he's like, I'm a metal worker. No clue. So they send him to this ammunitions plant and he starts working with metal and he quickly, figures it out. And he starts with the scraps making these little rings. Well, one of the German commanders saw him and took it from him and started coming in saying, can you make more for souvenirs for my friends of these, the idea of that as a souvenir makes me sick. But anyway, so he was making these rings for this commander. And at the end of the war, he was there and they were trying to, hide everybody and hide what they were doing. And they were marching them out, what they call, what became known as the Death March in the terrible cold. And a lot of them died, but little David's father and his friends, they saw an opportunity to escape. and took it and got recaptured. And they had lined them up in front of a trench and shot them all. But David's father had only gotten shot in the leg, probably by the commander who favored him. And then he had bodies on top of him in this trench. And he looked up and he saw the guy and he got him out and let him leave. And that, he goes, if that happened to get me here, for me to be born, God must have something for me to do. And so he is and he is like a hero of the IDF as well. Breathtaking story, that man. And he leads the City of David excavations. And then Doran came in and became the one that went out and tried to raise the funds. Because, I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that they've spent. And just, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It is amazing. Everybody needs to read it. If you want to. Well, I had a friend of mine that was starting to question some of the things that's happening in Israel right now. And I told her, you need to read this book. Because the misinformation that's been pushed and is still being pushed, because they want to make, it's like, she's like, well, I heard this and I heard that, and they say this and they say that. And I'm like, do you know the whole story? And I have this conversation with my kiddos in audio video about, I said, you cannot trust what you read. You have got to understand the source. It's so much harder. We've got all this wonderful information, but with so much at our fingertips, we have to work harder to verify it and make sure it's authentic.
Right.
But anyway.
Well, but even
I recommend this book highly.
Even in the, one of the comments that I heard over the last couple weeks that I had to go, let's reframe this. And it's one of those I will preface, don't hear what I'm not saying. Mm-hmm. Everything that's going on, like the loss of life period is not godly, right?
No.
But the comment was made about the innocent civilians in Gaza, and because the slant is still towards Israel's doing this. What about these innocent civilians? And I'm like, can we time out and remember that there are still hostages? I mean, innocent civilians. Yeah. Why are we not having an outrage that all of these people haven't been released or the bodies haven't been released? Like, hello, they picked a fight. And I mean, seriously,
not just picked a fight,
right? Well, I'm just saying, like, but I mean, it's still
of what they did,
right? And it's still going on, right?
Yeah.
And I said, yes, that doesn't mean that that it's a trade-off or that that's justifiable. But can we rewind? Like, have we forgotten what happened?
Yeah.
So there is an inundation of, well, and I mean, we know. I mean, it's been since the beginning.
The
enemy has a target on the people of God.
Mm-hmm. And that's all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
if you know Christ but again, in Doran, he even talks about one of the, there was a hospital bombing that was blamed on Israel, and it was just horrific. And they did it. They did it, and they've got proof of it. But it's like they did it to themselves, and I don't know if it was a misfire or what. And there's footage of it wasn't Israel, but it got out, for a half a day that it was, and they could never pull it back. And he talks about that. He talks about how careful that they've, been to say, hey, look what we found.
Right.
They've got a tunnel that they found under when they discovered the real pool of Siloam. The one that has been, visited for years, that's a different, they found what they believe is the actual authentic pool of Siloam, and it's massive. It's massive. And they found it accidentally because there was a sewer leak. There was a pipe that was leaking in this place where they were doing some excavating, and they came in to fix it. And as they were digging, they found a crazy stairway going down into the pool. Well, then as they were excavating that, they find this tunnel, and they start going into this tunnel. And they go back in through this tunnel, and as they're going, they look up and they can see stairs that are underground, like, 40 feet underground, but they're above them. So they're in a tunnel that's going under some kind of a walkway. And that's the pilgrimage road that comes from the Pool of Siloam up to the temple. So in other words, if you the Pool of Siloam is like a giant mikveh for all these thousands of people to come in and be ritually clean, and then they would go up on this pilgrimage road to go to the temple, so they would stay ritually clean as they went up, is what the archaeologists believe. And so they see this stairway above them, and so they keep going through the tunnel. And as they're going, they find perfectly intact these clay vessels that if you read the depiction, if you read the account of Josephus, he talks about how the Roman soldiers, when they were trying to, find all the rest of the Jews that were hiding, they pulled up the stones in the road and they were under the road. There are vessels that they found in this tunnel from that time period that were left behind, where they had food or whatever. They found like a little dice down there where they were probably trying to let the kids play. Fine things they found in this tunnel, because we know from Josephus there were people hiding there. As they continued on down to the tunnel, they finally come to this wall, and they go, this is the foundation stones of the Western Wall on the bedrock. So these are the stones that were placed by King Solomon. Why is this everybody not just screaming this? I mean, it's incredible. It is incredible. This book just came out in May. It is life-changing for people who want to be ready to give an answer for the hope that you have. Wow.
Right.
Wow. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I didn't mean to monopolize your time with a full half hour on this book, but I was just so excited to share this with you because I know you just have such a passion for this. What do you want to talk about today? I'll shut up.
No, you're just so
Hi,
funny.
Mom. Welcome. I'm sorry. I mean, I've barely let you get a word in, but I'm just
Good.
I'm just like, man, this is good stuff.
I trust that we get to talk about what the Lord wants released. So
I know.
this is exciting. I can't wait to have
Anyway.
another book to read.
Yeah, I'm going to let you take it. I just really wanted to see the pictures. I hadn't really looked at the pictures, and I'm like, well, I've already seen this stuff.
Funny.
I study this stuff all the time, and I tell people I could probably take you on a tour of Israel pretty easily because I've done so much virtually.
That's so
and but I'll get there.
Right.
But if the Lord lets me live long enough, I may take people on tours there. I don't know,
Right.
but I just love it. And to Turkey, I want to go to Turkey so bad. But anyway,
I don't know. I mean, well, it's cool because like the fact that you do this, and then and I know that we probably talked about this last year. I don't know. Was that? I don't know if we were together. Was it? When did we start? No, it's been over a year. Yeah, because it was the spring.
It's been more than a year. I think it's
Yeah.
been getting close to 2.
It probably has been. It just all runs together when you're
It
having
does.
fun.
I mean, we've known each other for a while.
But so as you know though, but this is one of my favorite months of the Hebrew calendar of Elul, the king being in the field, and just the
Yes.
reminder.
We talked
as
about this last
yeah,
year.
we did.
Yeah.
I know, it's like it's my month. It's my month.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're getting ready to go into a new Hebraic year on September 22nd, and I just love like the idea of the transition of the new and the reminder. And I know that it's the type and shadow of Jesus coming from heaven and being with us, right? But when you think about that, even imagining your king coming and walking in your yard, putting up a tent and going, come hang out with me.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think, that the, I don't know if it's on this one. I don't think it is. Yes, it is. The acronym for Elul is I am my beloved's and my beloved is mine.
I love that.
And just, Mom made a comment on the way up here about one of the teachings she's heard. And she was talking about, that it just expresses the love of Jesus, right? And I just, that's where he's had me sitting, even in the middle of when he's going, hey, like, let's talk about this spot over here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about, it's still from a place of love, but it's also from that, not even just the love for me, but the love of others, because it's like once we start to spend more time with him intimately and the revelation of who he is, like this, like there's an excitement, there's there's just a passion to press in for more of him. But it's through that others are attracted to him, right? But then even in that revelation that we get to learn more about our authority. And that's really where he's been having me hang out the last few weeks of that reminder of what authority we have this side of eternity.
No,
Because
yeah.
of like, hey, we're his daughters.
Mm-hmm. I know. Isn't that wild? That's something that we've kind of been praying over a lot. Is it's like we're told that we can do what Christ did and more, and that you talk about authority,
Right.
It's like wow, and we just miss it so much. And I've seen the meme on social media where they're like, we talk all the time about how could those people in the Old Testament not see, how could they not? And they're going to be like, when they meet us, they're going to be like, how could you be so wasteful?
Right.
How
Oh,
could you
goodness.
waste it and not live into the fulfillment? You had his spirit in you. You didn't have to wait for him to, he's living in you.
Right.
And you don't even begin to grasp that. I think they're going to get tested and be like, oh, man.
Well, and I think that's the biggest, and that was one of the things I was sharing with her last night was, I feel like a couple of weeks ago in my quiet time that, when we're talking about the being united with Christ and what the word says and speaking and reminding, kind of one of those, reminding myself who I am, reminding the enemy whose I am. And just hearing the Holy Spirit go, you've done a great job kind of in that looking up, right? That you're seated. I'm united with him. I'm seated at the right hand right now in the heavenlies, like all of the things that you've given to me, that this is what your word says. But he was like, I want you to stop and I want you to think about what does it mean for the life of God, his life, his being, him. What does it mean for the life of God to reside within you?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just kind of like, he goes, what does that mean for your body?
Mm-hmm.
There's a scripture that says he will quicken our mortal bodies, right? But I mean, just even at that, like, and that tying into him being the vine and we being the branch, right? Like, what does it mean to have the resurrection power, the life of God, the creator, living inside the created? How, and we even go back to, I can't remember, whenever David was trying to bring back the ark and he had to leave it at Obed, whatever his name was, when the ark was in his house for 3 months,
Right.
and everything was blessed, everybody, everything. So much so that when David came back to get the ark,
It's like,
dude was ready to, like, no, I'm going with that.
yeah,
I'm not like, cow's house, you all can,
Yeah.
I'm going.
yeah.
So, but to sit with that profound, like you can't even begin to wrap our mind around like the thought about what truly, because if we could begin to grasp that, like that means like the enemy can't touch us. He can't do any, and walking like Jesus in the fullness of God's spirit because of him being human. So it's like he experienced it like we experience it. Then that means we have the ability to release his power. We have the ability to speak and declare. So it is that like, okay, well, lay hands on the sick and they shall recover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Touch. It doesn't say, like, it doesn't even say. So there's sometimes I think there are things that we're doing. Jesus never prayed for anybody's healing.
I never thought of that.
He never asked Dad, hey, would you do this? He told him, like, go sin no more. Touch, somebody touched him. He may have, spit and put some stuff in somebody's eye, whatever Holy Spirit told him to do. But he never prayed for anybody's healing.
Just said,
Go here.
yeah. Wow. I never thought of that. Now,
Or he's asked him, what do you want?
Yeah.
If you can, okay, if you're willing, go be healed. Go.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. You've given me several things I want to go back and just read and kind of just go, okay. And that's kind of speaks to anything that you read where you'll discern something that I haven't caught.
Right.
And I never thought about that.
That's
So
just
now
the iron
wanna go
sharpens
back.
iron.
I just want to
part,
read
right?
back through the Gospels and go, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Right.
oh yeah. You
Yeah.
know, so I love that. I love that. I love it. That is so cool. You know, you were talking about us approaching a new year, and you would be the one to ask because I don't know. Do you know what this upcoming year is the year of? Because it was like the year of the open door and the year of the open window or something, wasn't it? Because this past one was the like this time last year it was ending the open door, I thought, and this was then was open window. I think. Am I misremembering it? Because I feel
Right.
like we
What was
had
it?
those
The door,
comments.
the window. So this,
I just remember us having that conversation.
right.
So I'm just curious about that. But and this is just such a special time. It really is. But and if Lisa Forte, she Redeem Her Now. They will be meeting tonight. While you're looking that up, what are y'all doing tonight?
We are having just some fellowship time together before we have worship and the word. So doors will open at 6.
Okay.
For people who want to come hang out. If they're squealing in on 2 wheels from work, they can grab them something to eat, bring it, fellowship in the kitchen.
Okay.
And then we'll
And
have some-
who's speaking tonight?
I will be speaking tonight.
Oh, how blessed. Okay. I'll hear what she has to say. What are you going to be speaking on? Do you know yet?
It's interesting. So a little bit about the month that we're entering in, but I feel like, and I keep going, Lord, you'll make it flow together if it's supposed to flow together, or if these are just little nuggets for different people in this. But it is really to start off with the love component. But then we're hitting on doubt and unbelief.
Okay.
Ouch.
Okay.
And then our words. And so that reminder. So at the end, I'll do a spoiler alert. Most of my people aren't going to be up watching this early. But the challenge is going to be, there was a book I was reading last month. And as I was going through, he was talking about, oh, my church does a 21. I'm like, everybody does a 21 day. So I kind of in my mind had this attitude before I finished the sentence. And as I'm finishing the sentence, it was like they do a 21-day word fast. And I'm like, I think it might be easier for me to do food. Jesus, a 21-day word fast. And so he was talking.
You mean like not what?
What are we speaking? Negative, gossip, complaining, whatever. Like if it is not.
It's not praise.
If it's not praise, if it's not the word of God, zip it, sister.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. That's a challenge.
Tell
That's
me
a
about that's what
challenge.
I'm like.
You don't really think of. You don't really think about it. I'm like, oh, I'm always positive. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. There's no way. I mean,
Well, and it's not even like it's one of those. It's like it's not even complaining about the church. Maybe it's complaining about your job or the or something you say that's not nice to your spouse or your kids or the traffic that's in front of. I mean, like seriously. But also recognizing in some of the automatic pilot, like no filter, it just pops in your mind and out of our mouths. The reminder of that's how God created things. Minus us. He spoke things into existence. We are new creations and we are his children. So if we think for a second that our words don't carry weight, you probably need to shut your mouth, period, and go on a complete word fast until you have that revelation. But then also the word tells us that life and death are in the power of the tongue.
you bet. That's what was running through my head just as you said that. Every word we say, man, you got to take it.
And are you aligning? Because there's his word and then there's the enemy's word. And the enemy's word can sound like things that your parents said. No offense, Mom. It can be like, I'm not saying that she did, but I'm just like, but it can sound like, or he can twist through our filters, right? Parents, coaches, teachers, bosses, siblings. I mean, people who are mean on the playground. Like his voice can sound so many different ways. We have a choice on what we're aligning, what we're believing. And so am I believing the lie or am I believing his word? And so are we speaking death over people? Are we speaking death over relationships or situations? You know,
I get it. I love it. I mean, and that's just, and I've spoken about this so much this week because as I'm, still getting to know my kiddos this year, I've got like a whole brand new class of freshmen, and it just hits me every day. I look at them that I could, anything I say could be something that they'll remember when they're 60 years old, that could be, not good, or could be something that encourages them. You don't want to be that little seed. It's like, well, Miss Vivio said this, and that's why Mark and when we pray, we're like, guard our every word, our every action, because we know. I mean, I can remember those things that were spoken over me that lifted me, and I remember those much more than the ones that were not good. The ones that weren't helpful. They don't really, there's a few things maybe, but for the most part, it's those positive things that took me and propelled me to a different path, to a different road, that encouraged me. And so you want to be the ones that speak those over these kiddos.
Absolutely.
And so as I'm getting to know these kids, it's just, I've been thinking so much about what you're saying. And let's pause.
Yep.
Man, it's 20 Hill. I wish we had 2 hours. Good land, especially after you drive so far. But... Bless. Whenever I'm during,
what's our next Friday? We need to pick up. We need to pencil me on twice, right?
I know it. Well, I can't say you unless you want to get here at 6.
Hey, there might be less traffic at 6.
I have to go to school, So I mean, during fall break, that will be. That's not the first weekend. If it were the first week, because I'm working fall break, because I've got my son's getting married the next week, so.
Yay!
Yeah, my youngest son, and he's getting married on Thursday night. So we're going to be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's going to be, I'm just like, I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, let me go ahead and do this ad real quick for us. Not real quick. I mean, we love our sponsors. They're so good to us. The UPS Store, guys, one of our newest sponsors, and they're at 513 Memorial Boulevard. And in a new month, it means they have a new coupon out. Remember, if you hang on to your coupons from the UPS Store, they're always good. They never expire, but you got to hang on to them. This month, it's 10% off wide format prints. Again, 10% off wide format prints. And then Deborah, she sent me an example of it. Oh my goodness, there is this beautiful print, huge family picture that this customer had done. I mean, spectacularally done, and it's massive. It's as big as a TV. And my word, it's absolutely beautiful. And I guarantee you it's a whole lot cheaper to get it done there than through a photographer. But it is an absolutely beautiful print that they did. But that's the coupon this month, 10% off wide format prints. And you can also fill out their little survey, and you'll be registered to win a $250 gift card to Amazon. And because they are the Amazon drop-off place, it's not just where you drop off your Amazon packages, though I do have like a back seat full of stuff I got to go buy and drop off. But they're at 513 Memorial Boulevard. Everyone in there is a notary. I love that. When I realized that, because every time I would have to get something notarized, I was like, oh, where am I going to go? UPS Store. Everyone in there is a notary, and you can get that done. How convenient is that? All the mailboxes you need. They can ship anything. They can print anything. What a great store, and the friendliest folks around. Their hours right now, they're open 7 days a week. They were closed on Monday for Labor Day, but they are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 6:30, 8 a.m. till 6:30, Monday through Friday. Saturday hours are 9 to 5, and then Sunday they're even open from 12 to 5. UPS Store, guys, you are going to love working with them. They're going to give you a smile. I don't care how crowded they are. When you go in there, they're going to have a smile for you, and they're going to get you in and out of there so quickly that you're going to be super impressed, even when there's a pile of people in there. And, oh, by the way, they're looking for some new help. They're hiring right now. So if you're interested in working for the UPS Store, you're going to love working with these folks. I know Deborah. I've known her for years. I know Tom now. And just a great bunch. Everybody I've dealt with in there, just absolute professionals, top notch. They're at 513 Memorial Boulevard in Springfield. 615-384-0093, 615-384-0093. Let them know U-Turn sent you. All right. What are we going to go to next here?
Well, I was going to answer your question.
Yes.
A couple of different people are saying that this is a year of divine connection.
Okay.
Clarity and forward movement. It's associated with the Hebrew letter Vav, the 6th letter, signifying connection. And the number 6 is the number of man. So it's a time for spiritual awakening, repentance, and stepping into divine purpose.
Ooh.
I know, right? And so Vav means and or hook. So whenever you look at the actual symbol for Vav, It looks like a tent peg, right? So it's like the scripture that keeps coming to mind is time to enlarge your tent, stretch out your tent pegs. And
Oh, I love it.
But even in sitting with that with the Lord this week too, it was also when you think about putting a stake in the ground or that peg, right? That one of the things that he reminded me, that's how we mark off territory. That's your territory, right? You put stakes, you put markers. And so it's like, what is the territory that he has assigned you, that he's taking you to, that it goes back to our authority, right? Like
Yes.
he had, if you are still breathing and on planet Earth,
You better get
it's like
busy.
you have kingdom territory. And
Yeah.
and that sometimes that's simply, again, goes back to our words. What are we speaking and declaring over the spheres of influence that he's already given us, because he wants to give us more, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
really
a
cool.
lot.
That is a lot.
It
I
is
love
a
that though. I just love that whole thought. That just kind of fits perfectly with where my head is right now. So that's just that's a beautiful thought for this year. I love that, to find our purpose, because I mean, purpose driven life, y'all. Come on. I mean, you think about how profound that was whenever somebody just spoke and said, "Oh, you need purpose in your life." It's like, well, yeah.
Right.
And I just love that. I love that.
Well, and I've been meeting. And for me personally, there's like new challenges as far as, and I think we talked a bit briefly about it. This idea of doing a functional medicine practice component. And it's like, having to go, Lord, hello, do you know how old I am? Like, this is not what,
You want me to
this is
start
what you
something
do.
new?
Right. Not like to that. It's like, no, wait, hold on. Like, what? But that's been part of my journey with him and all of the things. You want me to do what? Like, and even though I'm probably shaking my head, but it's going, Lord, okay, I'll do whatever you say. So I think that there's new places, and I honestly believe, because of him knitting us together, of him knowing and creating us before he ever made the foundations of the world, there are things that he has in store for you, for each of us, that you don't even know exist, that'll blow your socks off, because
Yeah.
he's like, I know, like, if you'll just come over here, if you'll just keep moving forward. I think that but it goes back to that belief and trust, right? And not the doubt and unbelief. Do we trust him? Do we believe him? It's like, are we willing to put all the chips in on the and it goes back to, are we daring enough to be Peter? Or are we going to be the other 11 who sat in the boat going, he's an idiot? Like, what?
He's gonna drown.
Right, he is.
Yeah.
Probably thinking it or saying it, like, what? Or you're going, okay, Lord, okay, whatever this. And, that step out, but Jesus is still there and rescue. So it's like, we can't fail.
Yeah.
Really. And even one of the things that I'm learning, even in that, in our obedience, even if it looks like failure to us or to the world or to our friends or whatever, we have no idea, because he's so passionately pursuing all of us that it's always about the one. Even in what may look like a hot mess to you, or like, well, that just did not, you may not know until you see him on the other side of this life, how your obedience put one person in the kingdom.
Amen.
So I think, sometimes we forget that it's like, he goes after, okay, Lord, if it's about the one, okay, will you still do this if there's one? Okay. Okay. Yes. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. It's so interesting. I had Dr. Bell, the principal of Innovation Academy here just up the street in Springfield, and he spoke about going for the one, because we were talking about dealing with high school kids and or knuckleheads and stuff. And he goes, knuckleheads is okay. And I say, that I got that from Judge Perry, because, it's just a nice way to say you're being, I raised a knucklehead, and he's a fabulous human being now and just a wonderfully successful young man. But he was a knucklehead, and I can imagine he drove his teachers crazy. And he goes, instead of knuckleheads, I like to think of them as the lost sheep. And I thought, oh, that's so much better,
Right.
And I love that there's somebody leading a school that has that on their heart that, okay, the knuckleheads are lost sheep. Let's get them where they need to be and let them shine and let them, find their purpose and just see what in the world they can do. And like I said, all my kids were knuckleheads at times, quite frankly, but I was,
Right. Right.
So, and you just see what God does with the knuckleheads, the lost sheep. And it's just, it's a beautiful thing. Refresh is tonight. It is, again, doors open at 6 o'clock. Service starts at 7 at We Are Church in Old Hickory. Do you happen, my dear friend, to know the address?
1501 Hadley Avenue.
You're ready.
I am ready this morning.
I was looking, I pulled up your moniker and I was like, okay, I don't see the address on here. She's going to have to pull it out of her brain. But redeemhernow.org is where you can find out all the wonderful things that they do. This is just something that, this is just like you're talking about your alternative medical practice thing that you just have in your heart to do. Redeem Her Now was the same kind of thing. It's like, what do you want me to do, Lord? And he just kept opening those doors. Mm-hmm. And look at it now. How long have y'all been doing this?
Since minus like the COVID shutdown, 2019.
Look
so
at
we had
that.
a pause. Yeah.
But I mean, that's incredible. Because a lot of the times I have had all kinds of little ideas I've done, and it just didn't quite, and it was something to develop me. I can just think of, I can give you a litany of things I did, and I'm like, it wasn't without purpose, but it was like, okay, do this for now. No, we're done. Okay, now we're going to go here, being in the classroom.
Yeah.
My run for Congress directly impacted me being in the classroom. I don't know that these doors would have opened the way. Well, the Lord's going to do what he's going to do. He'll get the doors open even if you take a misstep, if he really needs you somewhere. If it's from him, you can't stop it.
Yeah.
And if it's not, you can't force the door open.
Right.
So, but I see that directly impacting my husband and I both being in the classrooms and doing what we're doing now. And we think, well, how did we not find this sooner? But he will direct your path. And he did so clearly with what you're doing with Redeem Her Now, because the fact that you're still doing it.
Well, and we always keep it before him.
Yeah.
I mean, like my thing is like, I'm one of those that I don't want to stand before you and him go, well, that was nice. Poof. Because it was something I built, right? Like, it's like, Lord, if I'm not doing this without you. So it's always on the table. Hey, if this month is the last month we do this, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure some of the ladies are like, what? But seriously, you don't want
it to him.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want Lisa to show up and do something because no,
You want the
it's
Lord to do it.
exactly.
Well, that's just like, I love that that's the year that we're going into in the Jewish calendar, is the one of, expanding your tent pegs and finding that purpose and all of that, because that kind of goes along with what's been on my mind if he's taken me, because I have some things I've told several people, there's some things I'm working on and this relates to it, and I'm not going to Israel or anything. That's just a thing I want to do, but I don't have to. But there's some things I'm trying to sort out what I'm supposed to be doing in the ministry, and but I'm not. I'm letting him do it, Right. And I really thought I was going to get a whole lot done with that this summer. Well, no, I didn't. And that's okay. And just could not focus on it because of what we had happening around us. And it's okay. And so I'm just waiting on him, but I'm not going to just sit still. I'm going to keep digging. And I know that when it's ready, it'll just come. You look like you want to say something, Mom.
I actually do. Whenever Lisa made a comment a minute ago about how old she was and telling God how old she was, I just want to encourage those who are older.
Mm-hmm.
My life has changed dramatically since Lisa's dad went to heaven.
Mm.
So I'm in a total different place than what I was before. And, I'm 73, and it's like, okay, God, is it time for me just to sit here and wait for you to take me home? And it's just, no, it isn't. And I just want to encourage older women to actually, seek him. I don't know where I fit right now. I don't know, I don't know what the next step is. but I know that he knows.
Yeah.
And I know that he's done so much for us. He's done so much in my life that he's going to get me where he wants me to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want age to be a factor. It's like, but, I can feel that way. I can feel like, okay, really, I am tired, and it's fine with me if you take me now.
Sounds like my mother was always that way. She's like, already.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But, don't look at it as I'm done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
know,
That's the
You're
challenge.
probably not.
Yeah. If you're still breathing, if you're still on this side, you've got things to do.
Well, and I think the pressure, we grow up in an environment that we're programmed that has to be a do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I remember him saying something years ago, and it's like, human being, not human doing.
Yeah.
And that whole be part.
Yeah.
So even in that, going back to what you said, if there's not a specific clear, I want you to do this, then enjoying the adventure, enjoying the intimacy, enjoying the relationship, but also still going, okay, Lord, well, when I wake up to it, what are we doing today?
Yeah.
And if I got to go to the grocery, am I going to Kroger's or am I going to, who really being in tune with, he's so into the details. It does matter to him whether you go to Kroger's or Publix. It might be for your benefit because you save $50, but it also might be you need to connect and smile and say good morning to that cashier because you don't know if she's prayed, if she's planning on or he's planning on ending their life that day. And it's like, Lord,
Amen.
if you see me,
Yep.
and you're the one person that makes eye contact and acknowledges their presence on the earth, and that's what they need, that changes their we get so we miss him speaking all the time. He's talking to us all the time. Well, we're just not listening, whether it's too busy or fingers in our ears or we think he's saying something. He's speaking all the time.
Yeah. For sure. And we
Because
just
he
got
wants it, and not in a bossy way. It's like he wants, hey, come talk to me. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, I'm right here. Come talk to me. That
Yeah.
we don't see him a lot of times in that picture of that he desires to be in communion with us and in relationship with us, and that he's excited. He sings over you.
Mm-hmm.
His song that he sings over you is different than the song he sings. Really? The creator of the universe takes time to sing a song over me? And then it's like, do you ask him what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still long enough to go, can you tell me what you're singing over me today? And listen, because he wants to tell you. Do we cultivate, and again, it all goes back to love. Do we honestly believe? Do we believe it? Do we receive? We can't even fathom really, but do we even begin to grasp the little thimbleful that we can understand and comprehend as human beings? His crazy, amazing, magnificent love for us.
Amen. Oh, love it. And we're just the same all the time. I got to do another ad, and I got to mention a couple of sponsors and absolutely talk about Barry and Rebecca here for a minute. And then we'll come back and wrap up. Wild Doc's going to be coming in here. Lee Marie's here with an extra full hour of local programming with our Wild Doc. Dr. Brown, chiropractor extraordinaire. But he'll be in here in just a moment. But we need to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. This may be the weekend you really need to touch base with a realtor. Whether you're buying or selling, you just want to see what your home value is. They'll do a market analysis for you for free. You'll find them out and about in the community all the time. They're always available. You can call Rebecca 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Rebecca's been at this a long time, one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. They're dear friends of mine. They're longtime, full-time sponsors of the program. We just appreciate them so much. But check them out. Find their social media posts. Find their unique web pages. You'll find out he's a broker. He has his office here in Springfield. She has her agency office out in White House. They brought those two offices together to bring you Exit Prime Realty. You can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, BUY, RobertsonCounty.com. But remember, he's got this vast marketing background. If you want to get your home presented in the right light, none can do it any better than what Barry can do. Videography, photography, drone footage, walkthrough tours, all the things. They specialize in Robertson County properties. They've been here for 30 years in Cross Plains, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky because, like me, they're originally from Kentucky, y'all. Get in touch with them today. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, and let them know U-Turn sent you. And just need to tag into Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market, open 7 to 4 today and tomorrow. They're closed Sunday and Monday. They cut beef this week. You want some of their beef? There might still be some in the fresh counter. Always have great selections in their frozen counter, but they're ready for fall. They've got all the fall decorations and all the things, y'all. Go out and see them for fall. Parting thoughts. What you got for us, hon?
Oh, what is your parting thought for today?
Just really, I love what you said about ask God what he's singing over you. Ask God what he's singing over you. So, but you got to, be silent and be open for him to hear it. So do that.
Get your
So how
journal
about
out.
that?
Get ready to write it
There
down.
you go. And get this book and read it or do it on Audible. Do it on Audible and get the book. Good stuff.
You should do a like Zoom.
Club thing on it.
Yes.
I don't have time right now to do nothing. I got to go teach the kids. I got to go record the news with a kiddo. I had one of my little news girls. She sent me a text or an email while we were sitting here. I sound like a Disney princess.
Could be worse.
She kind of did.
I know.
She kind of did. It was a little bit too sweet. I was going to tell her we need to get a little more oomph into that. She's really good. She's a little freshman, but she goes, I sound like a Disney princess. I got so tickled. I was like, okay, you gotta
It'll
do
be
it.
fine as long as
It'll
you
be
sit
all right.
here and do the news
Don't do
with
this.
the wave, the princess wave.
That's great. Love you, Lisa.
Love you.
So nice to meet you. And Mom's name's Carol, right?
Yes.
There you go. I was forgetting for a minute. Lee Marie's coming up. Doc Brown, Wild Doc coming up. You're going to be blessed by another full hour of local programming here on 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend.